Howdy and hello, I'm Doe. Hope you're doing good. The Once Human Beginner's Guide begins now. Before you wander into Narnia, do your main tasks. The ones above the world tasks, these are you unlock your motorcycle for movement and the ability to interact with rift anchors for extra loot. Two important things I didn't do for hours. Instead, I was looking for tin ore to make a bronze axe, and then I was looking for steel or iron ore to make a steel axe. Why? I like the idea of progressing my tool. I'm a tool too. On the topic of tools, use code OhDough at Deviation.com to get yourself some protein powder and creatine tools to help you live a more healthy lifestyle. Creatine for sure. It's good for you even if you don't lift. Protein can be good for you if you don't lift because it's very satiating. On with the video. After unlocking your motorcycle, I recommend traveling to Mayor's Market, and on the docks near here, there could be a deviation. There's going to be a beaver. The beavers are huge for getting wood for you while you're AFK, and it just helps with the crafting process because you'll need tons of wood to make coal and to build a bunch of stuff in your base. At a certain point, you may want to also get yourself a steel pickaxe when you can. Don't rush it though, because you need to be level 20 to make the intermediate workbench to craft it in the first place. But you can get dig boys from farming tin ore and other things. I think the lower quality of the ore, the lower chance you have of getting a dig boy, because silver gives you almost a guaranteed chance. It seems that after maybe 4 dig boys total, you can't really get any, although I have 5. Got lucky somehow. So keep that in mind. Just want to farm for those guys to help yourself get more ore passively. Dig boys and the beavers. 2 big things. Now, also be on the lookout for maybe certain world tasks. You can maybe want to Google it to see which ones drop deviations, because I got myself a pretty sick deviation for playing with friends where I can create a consumable that can summon my homies. It makes a teleport for them to me. And this is a level 6 area near Dayton Hospital. It's a pretty simple quest, although it was kind of a puzzle that I figured out myself because I'm a genius. What can I say? And I didn't know that. I had no idea that these low-level quests could give you such deviations. Now, I do mention that you want to be unlocking rift anchors whenever you can, because in the areas, they unlock enough to then go and handle the monolith. Monoliths are the dungeons in said area, and they give you certain loot. And in those same dungeons, you can go back later when you're higher level and increase the difficulty to get different items, different modifiers, and different base loot. Deviations are not guaranteed to spawn or be captured when they are spawned. Sometimes you'll sit there and spam, I think, twice, and they escape. To increase your capture rate, get better gloves or higher tier gloves. I think that's going to help you a little bit, hopefully. And also be aware that farming for monoliths can give you deviations that spawn. For instance, level 10 monolith of greed can drop a deviation that heals you and replenishes sanity. It's amazing for questing. I'm a big fan. Gives a teddy bear with a machine gun when you do the secret clown room, which goes faster in a group. I didn't know that. Keep in mind, it's not a guaranteed drop for the teddy bear or pretty much most deviations. Build as many isolated securement units as you can under the facilities and functional facility tabs. These are to store your deviants. In these little tanks, you can then figure out what the deviants do in a sense, if they're combat or for crafting. In the top right corner, it'll be combat in red or crafting in blue. And for the combat gamers, there's ones that are for damage and others that are more supportive. So the festering gel, you make a blockade either at your feet, or you can throw it to your teammates to heal them and reduce sanity. Then you have the polar jelly. For this, you can have it cast a vortex nova in place, or you can throw it and it'll cast in the place you throw it. Then you have other ones that you can set to auto attack and they'll just attack willy-nilly, or have them attack targets you mark, which I assume is by middle mouse. For the mentally declined folks like me, to activate deviants, hold down E and then mouse over what action you want them to do when you have 100 power. And when you activate it, you can deactivate it to save some deviant power, because right now it's active, it's draining the meter in the bottom right. You can just recall to Cradle, and it picks back up the recharge from the point it gets recalled. And when you complete a silo or a monolith of greed, you have 2 options. You can do min rewards or max rewards. Minimum rewards won't give you a whole lot, but it costs you nothing. Max rewards cost you a controller, which you get those from doing your journey quest and maybe random, I'm not quite sure. You get them from doing stuff, and I have 45, I've used a ton of them so far. I would say it's not worth using them when you go to lower level dungeons, because most of the time you're just getting weapons that you can't even repair, so you don't get to keep them for that long. To unlock monoliths, you must first interact with enough rift anchors in the area. And in the rift anchor areas, you'll also have these objective towns that will have mystical crates that give you blueprints and a few other things to be done as well. The checkboxes increase in number based on the difficulty of the area in some cases. Here it's low level, so it says find mystical crate, activate rift anchor, and find weapon and armor crates. The mystical crates will almost always be on high ground, and the gear and armor crates are going to be the most annoying thing to find as time progresses. I promise you that. These things are vile to locate. To make it easier, you can go ahead and use your whisper ability, your Q, and things that highlight in white are going to be random loot, but the things highlighting in purple/pink, chances are it'll be mystical crate, gear, or armor boxes, but it could also be random other things that are higher quality loot, but not exactly what you're looking for. But I can help you. And just ask folks, hey, where is the mystical crate located in Sutherland Family Orchard? Please send help. The mystical crates won't always be on the roof, and that red glow is the crate we're looking for. You got the blast suit frag. Now, the blueprints are huge because you can use them to upgrade your weapons, increasing their level. And you need a lot of blueprints to do that later on. Now, sometimes you'll have to travel a lot further than you think to complete the explore mission objective top left. There's times where you just keep traveling until that text goes away or until it doesn't. And you're going up hills, going way far away from the original objective. And this is going to be very common in a few areas. Storage crate. When you go back to your base, hit the disassembly bench and scrap all the scrap. Hit select all in the very first tab and just disassemble. None of the stuff matters. It is all junk. Be careful hitting select all on the other tabs because this stuff is important. Your weapons are nice. These are not the ones equipped, but they may be ones you want to keep. Now, words are so hard right now. My brain can't focus. Do keep in mind when a weapon has these letters that are not American, for sure, that is things you cannot repair, at least not right now. So that can be disassembled unless you want to keep it and use it until it's almost to the point where it breaks, and then disassemble it. If it has a green paper with an arrow, that will give you a calibration blueprint when disassembled, which can then be put on other weapons to change their calibration stats, which are essentially 3 little bonuses that most will have pretty generic ones. This is going to be range, crit damage, and I don't even have the ability to get the last one based on the calibration level limit. So I'm going to go ahead and salvage a sniper. I already have one of my... Be careful when you click things. I like this shotgun. It's leveled up a lot. That would have been unfortunate. I'm going to salvage this. Blueprint, some loot. Nice. So here, I could upgrade this helmet, even though it's not really mine. So be careful with that, because you can upgrade them or calibrate them, which upgrades their stats. The green things are what upgrades, but you can't repair it. It's hard to really showcase that. This is not mine. This helmet is all... Ooh, there it is. This helmet is in need of repair, and I can't click it to repair it. These pants are not mine. This helmet is, and I can repair this. Calibration is pretty simple. In general, it increases the damage of your weapons and give you more HP and PSI intensity, which PSI is your magical powers, I believe. And it will also unlock the ability to get better attributes from your calibration pattern. So below it says +4, it's locked. If I get this weapon to +4 calibration, it'll unlock that and give me the +12 accuracy and +6 stability. And for other weapons, it'll give me a lot more. Now, the level of the weapon dictates how much you get unlocked from that pattern. So don't go gung-ho on weapons that aren't at least level 4 in the crafting menu, as seen as such there. And don't calibrate weapons that aren't yours too crazily, because when you salvage them, you won't get back as many materials as you put into them. So to increase your level, you go to your blueprints and you right-click a weapon, and then you can hopefully have a blueprint to put into it. You click that, and if there's enough, you can upgrade this and get more damage from it, increasing the level, and then getting more from the calibration pattern. We following? I hope so. Follow the channel too. I do guides that are kind of scuffed. If you're looking for more damage, go ahead and right-click your armor and weapons and equip mods. Right-click them and then left-click the mod slot and look at what damage you're going for. Melee, status, weak point, weapon damage, crit rate, and some crit damage, or just flat out crit rate. And these all have other attribute effects, unless it's a gray mod. You're in the poorhouse here, brother. It's unfortunate. Now, the higher rarity, purple in this case, legendary at some point, is better if it's what you're going for. And do keep in mind that the tier of the gear determines what attribute effects are active. So if you have tier 4 and a purple mod, then all attributes are active. I don't, so only 2 are because I have tier 3 gear. I think once you get tier 5 gear, you'll get legendary mods that have 4 attribute effects. Don't quite know, never played the betas, it'd be what it be. And there are mods that only go into certain slots, such as your feet. Access to a lot more mods here that also say armor mods, shoes. So you can tell your own builds and change what you're going for based on these. So core effects is the big thing, and after that, it's going to be the attribute effects and also the gear piece. And I don't know if you can salvage the mods on pieces of gear, but I just remove it because I'm scared. In fact, I can maybe find it out right now. Right click, boom, equip. Gear. Right click. The mods don't get yeeted and deleted. Huge. I was worried about that. Weapons also have their own mods. These are going to be for all weapons. There may be ones that are more unique and only go on certain specific weapons, but I don't quite know if I've gotten to that point yet. But weapons also have a accessory menu. Here, you can add attachments that make your weapons better in some cases, or they have bonuses and drawbacks, which you can hover over these and see where they're farmed from. Explore the riddle spot billboard in northwest Red Sands. Like New Mexico. No idea where Red Sands is unless I'm back in New Mexico. So that's for another time, I guess. But you can buy certain attachments from vendors. I think the tactical site here was a pretty good pickup for 2,000 energy links, which you can get a ton of by selling silver ore. Don't sell gold ore if you can get gold. Keep that for other stuff. But tons of attachments for different weapons. I'm really hoping there's more bow blueprints, man. I'm a bow one trick, at least I try to be. But the bow doesn't have a whole lot going on. Give me some explosive arrows, give me some poison arrows. Oh my god. Please, I beg thee. Poison arrows, fire arrows, just all kinds of arrows. I would be so happy with that. Any cool cosmetics? I'm in pain. I'm in visible pain, dude. But yeah, you go ahead and do that, and you can also change the appearance of certain equipment, which I actually have on my shoddy. Equip this, right click, under cosmetics. You can then click the skin menu thing and see what skins are available. This is purchased in the shop. This is from the battle pass, and this is from participating in events. Don't know which one I got it from, but I got it. We lemony, son. Wait, that's orange. Lemon and orange. Interesting combinations. And you get stickers that I also do not have. Man, this game's really... What is this? Oh, no. You can paint the attachments? That's kind of clean. I didn't know you could do that. There's key armor with unique effects you cannot stack. For instance, these Mayfly goggles give you power surge +1, but minus 30% damage on power surge. That's sick with my scar that triggers power surge. But I can't equip my gloves because they also have a key effect, and you can't have 2 at one time. Hopefully that changes in the future. I'm trying to be insanely overpowered if I can help it. Memetics is your first talent tree with 4 different branches. The first branch is for your tools, usually. Copper, bronze. Don't unlock forging techniques or steel pickaxes until you're level 20, or you can make yourself an advanced working bench, the place where you make the steel pickaxes. Otherwise, you'll unlock this and do nothing with it for a long time, like me. So don't make that same mistake. Then we have the crafting. Here you can get ammunition, a gear workbench to make pistols and other weapons. You can upgrade that to the intermediate workbench rather quickly, level 20-ish. And same thing goes for intermediate tools. Increase the ability of your stems, give yourself a synthesis bench, make adrenaline shots to revive yourself. The list goes on. A bunch of stuff in here is pretty useful. We got logistics for food, essentially. A watering system, stoves, electric stove, planting, things you'll have to do, and the game will essentially coax you into doing, even if you don't want to. I don't want to plant in this video game. Then you can increase your deviation containment unit count. This is huge, going from 5 deviation limit to 10. You want to do this as fast as you can. Vending machine, if you want to sell to other players, you don't really have to focus this too much because people aren't super into it at the moment. They might be more enthused when we get to other phases where more materials might be valuable to them. Wish machine, so you can use the currency you farm in the game to potentially get blueprints. I have one of those. I kind of like it. Don't know if you're supposed to use it the way I'm using it, but I am. And solar generator, electrical kits, very important for crafting solar panels and other things to get power. I'll discuss that in a moment. And finally, building. This is a big one. Don't blow all your points out the gate too early, because you'll be essentially time gated and have to get levels to get more meme points. They're legit called that. What? That's nuts. To catch up and progress I think in some cases, the main task. So be a little sparing in what you spend your points on out the gate, but you'll get more points from just leveling. There's other ways to gather them. I just forget what they are. And the other talent trees, we got the Cradle. This is kind of like a talent tree in a sense. You get these unlocks at different levels or phases, and these can go into these slots, but the slots require you to kill certain bosses. They're either going to be in the silos, or I believe maybe world bosses, or bosses trapped in the monoliths. And you can change them anytime you want to, so don't be too worried about this. I want to unequip this. I can unequip it, re-equip it. Doesn't quite matter. The menu that matters would be meme ticks, because you can refund this. It just costs you a lot. You only get back 30% of what you spent. Resetting all the meme tick branches costs 30% of the currency spent to unlock. I don't know if that's going to be the meme ticks themselves and the energy links. If I did know that, I'd feel better, but I think it maybe costs both. Now, the thing that really is important to get correct the first time is your meme tick specialization. Here, you get essentially 3 or 4 options every time you get level 5, 10, 15, 20. It's increments of 5 levels. And you can unlock different specializations. Keep in mind that some of these, only one person in your hive or group needs it if you're playing with friends, because you can then give that bonus to your homies. So one person can be the crafting bish in a sense, and other folks can spec in the damage or other crafting bonuses that you have to decide between. I messed up. I do not recommend getting the Stardust water pump until you know how it works. I have no idea how it works, so I wasted that slot. And it says you can reset these, but just know that resetting it only resets a single one. And this currency is hard to get. I think you only get 5 resets in a season. So pick carefully. I didn't do that. I didn't know. So this is the one place where choices really do matter. And I wish someone told me that, but no one did. Here we are. Building can be as simple or complex as you want it to be. That person's getting crazy. Look at that stair flight just to do anything you want. Me, I jump, and guess what? I can hit up my stash of Digbees and beavers and whatnot and get some loot. I can craft. It's easy. Simple life. Open floor plan is my go-to. Do keep in mind a bottom floor being open means that wolves or other animals can gank you when you're AFK. Just worry about that if you want. Now, building's pretty simple. You go in the build menu by hitting B, right-click to pull up the structures if you want to build a foundation, walls, whatever else is in this menu you fancy. Interior is going to be your stairs. Attachments are doors that I don't use. I'm anti-doors in this place. Facilities, first tab will be your crafting stations and other important features. Furnace, electric furnace, stove, so on and so forth. Scroll down to get to your garage. I couldn't find it for the longest time. Scroll down. It's right there. I didn't know. And storage facility is where you get your storage. In this game, placing a storage crate is huge because it pulls from the crate when crafting if you're in your base. But sometimes you want to have certain materials on you in the wild to make things easier. Microchips and wood for defense missions that you can be allowed to build on. That's kind of complex. You may know what I'm saying in the future. Defense, which is useful for this thing right here. It's useful for the Stardust Resonant Filter. You essentially have a zombie apocalypse happen in your base, and the defense stuff can help you kill it. Fire Trap and Gravitational Grip. Those things do work. It'd be wise to build your resonator away from your main base, or build your base above your resonator. So in my case, I built mine away from the base. It's in this little structure as seen as such, and it has some layers to it. That way the mobs that spawn from range and just be peppering it from a distance can't break through instantly, and the other mobs are incentivized to go through the tunnel that it could make a bit more complex and crazy, but this is kind of a simple thing, and they get torched by the traps. Or do what my neighbor did and you build your base above the resonator, so the range mobs can still try and hit it, but this will mitigate a lot more of the crafting. You won't be spending as much materials as I did. This may seem a little complex, but all you have to know is that each solar panel has 15 watts of power, and the things connected to have their own cost. This stove is 3 watts, This bench is 6 watts. The furnace is 5 watts. Each of these containment units is 5 watts instead of 0. That's a freaking lie, mate. All you do is walk up to it, and it has a requirement to make it hit this so your deviation can get more of a bonus and be more efficient when farming your base. Don't worry about that bonus for things that don't farm or craft in your base. And all I'm doing is connecting them. I can make it look better. I could connect the panels and make it basically do more efficient wire management, but you can turn off the wires, so it doesn't matter. You hit L while in the build menu and the wires go away, including the hose. Now with the water storage, put the water catcher on high ground and where it goes into on low ground. I don't know if it's supposed to go straight to a water tank. I've never caught water in this game before. I just learned that maybe high ground's good. So that's where we're at. And the garage is kind of a nuisance because it's so tall. So putting it on the roof is a nice move, or put it on a extendo clip on the side of your house to make that make more sense. And you can go crazy with building, bruv. Just make sure you have foundation beneath you. And if you can't build anywhere else, try adding supports so you can start building outwards. This game cares a little bit about structural integrity. Not too much, obviously, but a little bit. Going back to specializations, if you get any Master Craftsman bonus, such as the Workbench customization or the Supply Workbench Ammo Factory, make sure you dismantle them and rebuild them so the effect is triggered and useful. This is supposed to have a buff. It don't have because I never rebuilt it. Is this the right bench? Let me go ahead and look at this. This is Supplies Workbench. This whole time, I could have been getting more ammunition. I didn't know. I wasn't aware. If you want to go fishing, talk to Marjorie on the docks, which will be in pretty much all the major fishing locations. Get you some bait. I recommend this one. There's the fish balls. Not a big fan. I have a fishing pole as well. Equip the fishing pole. And then attack to extendo clip it. Once that's done, you hit R and you middle mouse button the bait you want to use. It'll put it on the hook. After this point, you can just keep fishing until the bait runs out and no need to re-equip it. I didn't know that for a bit. Then hold the tack, and you'll see a green thing. You can maneuver how you want to throw it down, and now you're fishing. When a fish hits it, the turn reel location will turn blue. Yes. When this happens, look in the bottom right. You want to make it so the bar goes up. The top bar is the most important one, I think. Seems to be the case. So I moved my mouse to the point that it would go up. I don't know how important fishing is, but I do know you can use, I think, the gold cichlids to buy a sick melee weapon that freezes enemies. I want to get that. I got it as like a random drop, but I can't repair it because it's not mine. I didn't craft it. So I'm storing the fish in these fish tanks, the blue-eyed cichlids and the gold-eyed ones. It could just be these bigger dudes. I'm hoping wrong thing. I'm hoping it's honestly the northern pike, but I don't quite know. So gold-eyed cichlid, blue-eyed cichlid, and the northern pike. Those are the 3 main fish I'm storing. I'm keeping this guy because he's big. He's a large blue cichlid. That's insane. You can rebuild your base anywhere you want to if there's space by just hitting your build menu and then Z. There's a cooldown for it. It's around 10 minutes. It's not a big deal. And this is how you can transport your entire base wherever you want to. It is a freaking godsend. Instead of having to rebuild everything from scratch, you can do that. You can also save it as a blueprint. Go here, go to House Blueprint, and then save it. My old one is saved. Probably the same one, actually. I haven't made many changes. I also didn't mention you can teleport to a bunch of different places. Your own base is a teleport station, so use that wisely if you want. Then you have the towns, the teleport towers, and one I learned today is your own homie's casa. You can TP here too. I think the teleport to your base and your teammates' bases is shared. 353. And up here, I have a similar cooldown for my own base. You won't notice the cooldown for teleporting your base too much because chances are when you teleport somewhere, you're going to go farming. Closing thoughts. The game is crazy. So many things I didn't mention because they're not super important, but they might be important to you. Depends. And a bunch more I don't even know exist yet. Just in phase 1. Now, I will say that when making your character, be wary of the weight of the character. Too thick and you'll take less damage, but be able to carry less stuff, I believe. And too skinny, you'll take more damage, but be able to carry more things. Wild. I will say that the overall quality of life in this game is unreal. If you play other survival games, you'll notice it rather quickly. And the initial fast track progression feels great. You're not sitting there feeling like a dent too long. You get a pretty fast track into nice items. And that feels good. There's a few things that folks are worried about though, which is the seasonal reset. I'm not quite sure how it works. Apparently you can carry some things in the new season, such as some currency. You can strategically transfer materials and whatnot. And you can also save your building blueprints for new seasons and stuff. It's weird, but it be what it be. And the other thing that folks almost got me to not play the game for would be the privacy policy and the TOS and all that stuff, which is apparently not a big deal at all. I need to not put stock into Steam reviews ever because people are smoked beyond belief. I should know that. Most of the Game of the Year games are games I don't want to play. I've tried them. They're not for me. I don't talk about it because I'm not sure that guy. It's like, I don't like these games. They're just not for me. So I can't be trusting Steam reviews, especially not from Muppets that just want to be divisive. Anyway, that's a video. Have a good day.